Hi guys, this is Ben from Island Computers. Wanted to go over a few points about spam calls. So scams that people are getting via phone call or text message. They're coming in both ways. And I guess a few of the differences between Android, so Samsung, Google, HTC, Sony, and Apple. Most people know I'm not particularly a fan of Apple products. There's a good reason for that because they create their environment in such a way that you basically seem to not be able to escape very easily. And their ecosystem does work if you're entrenched in that ecosystem. So if you've got a Mac and you've got an iPhone, but honestly, if you're using a Windows machine, why would you have an iPhone? What's the main reason that would make you want to stay with the Apple OS in comparison to Android? Is it because of the cameras? If it is, then there are way better cameras on a lot of Samsung phones and definitely Google. The videos are better. If it's just things like FaceTime, honestly, that's not a really good justification for staying with Apple. You get a way better experience on Android, especially if you go for something like pure Android, which is the Google phones. I have a Google Pixel 6 Pro, and it's a superb phone. It really is absolutely brilliant. So regarding spam calls, yeah, we're all getting them. We all get a lot of them. They're all coming from different companies, etc., etc. Now, one of the key features on Android that Apple do not have is the global spam initiative, I think they call it, the GSI, which basically if someone is a spam caller and you report it as spam, that gets sent to Google, and AI looks over it, and then I think a human will basically check the number. A lot of the time those numbers are just one-shot numbers, so that no longer exists, which is a bit annoying. However, if it's a company that is still in operation and is using those particular numbers quite regularly, then it will get added to this register, and then literally every Android person in the world will get a not a notification, but if they got a call from that number, it will basically come up as spam right on the front, literally red, telling you this is a suspected spam call. Do not answer it if they phone you. Apple, on the other hand, what are you doing, Apple? You have no spam filter. Once you get the call, you can click on information and then you can choose to report it as spam. But there's nothing. They have nothing. They don't protect you in any way whatsoever. And that's been one of my chief issues with Apple, is the fact that they tout themselves as being very security conscious, but they have basically bugger all security. Even on their Macs, the firewall is disabled. I use the analogy of having your firewall disabled is basically like hiring a bouncer, a security guard for your door, but making him sit in the corner with his earbuds in, looking at his phone and ignoring everyone that comes through the door. That's literally what it is. There is a really good website, which I definitely recommend people look at, and just to check the numbers. For example, before I go there, when I get a number that I don't know ringing me, I don't answer it. I just let it go to voicemail. Or usually I would let it go to voicemail. But if I'm on a call, or if I'm able to see the phone in front of me, like I'm not driving or whatever, then I'll let the Google Assistant pick it up. So it automatically does that when I'm on a phone call. And I think I've mentioned it before. It's actually a little bit annoying because it does actually pop up while I'm on the phone. And if I'm not careful, my cheek might set it off and basically pick the call up. So Google need to adjust where the Google Assistant buttons are on that panel when it comes up. I'd rather it just went, just do it in the background and then take your transcript of the call, and then I'll obviously have a look at it afterwards. But the unfortunate downside is that at the moment it will wait for responses. So if someone calls you and you basically say, hi, this is Google Assistant, please tell us why you're calling. And then if they wait for a reply, they don't just say, oh, hi, I need your help with my computer. Here's my number. Give me a call back. And they hang up. If they don't and they sit there, which a lot of spam callers will do because there'll be an AI on the other end waiting for a human response, then it won't hang up immediately. More often than not, if it is a spam caller or a scam, they will actually hang up as soon as they hear the Google Assistant, because either it's an AI that's calling you and it's getting ready to push that call to someone in the call center. The AI will recognize that it's an AI and will just go, oh, forget it, and just hang up the call. Or it's a human and they just go, oh, Google Assistant again, and they'll just hang up. So it's great. It's a really good feature from that point of view. The unfortunate downside is it's only on Google phones. So the Pixel 6, Pixel 7, they've got it. And the 6A and the 7A, which are not bad phones, but the standard ones, the 6 and the 7 are probably one of the best. And the Pro, obviously, I like the Pro, but it's more expensive. Samsung don't have that, but they do have the spam initiative. So if it's a spam call that someone's noticed and reported previously, then you will get, obviously, a notification saying it's a spam call. Sorry, my monitor keeps wobbling. Yeah, so the website I was referring to is called Reverse Australia. And you can see a list of the calls that people have checked recently to see who they are. I mean, obviously, it doesn't work for everybody. If I'm getting an individual phone number, if it's actually a person, then you might need to use white pages to check if the number is registered. But a lot of the time that doesn't happen anymore. But yeah, if you get calls from certain numbers, then they can show up here. So you just basically type in the mobile phone number, hit search, and then it will give you a result or not. If they're 03 numbers, 08s, that sort of stuff, 02s, 07. I get a lot of calls from 037043 or something, I think it is, and then the last four digits just rotate. And those are all spam calls, usually usually dodgy ones as well. I rarely get a call from an actual business these days. I just don't. So to be individuals, what does my head in though? What really does my head in is the individuals who don't leave a message. Who it might be a legitimate call. Someone might be trying to get my service. My voicemail message is perfectly fine. It's, hi, this is Ben from Island Computers. I can't take your call right now. Please leave a message, your name, number, and a brief message after the tone, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And then those people, for whatever reason, choose not to leave a message. I don't call you back because I don't know if you're a legitimate number or not. Come on. It's 2023. Leave a message. It's not that hard. Although I've got one customer who just basically says, it's me, call me back. So yeah, he's a funny one, but I've sort of got used to the fact that he always calls me and never leaves a message. He's that guy, unfortunately. But it's not that hard. Just leave a message, say you need help with the computer, or your printer's messed up, or you've broken your phone screen. Can you fix it? No, I can't, but I'll give you a number of someone who can. But then when you get these calls that come through and they don't leave a message, you can always just go to this website and you can basically just check to make sure whether they're legit or dodgy. 95% of the time, it's going to be dodgy. That's all I can say really about that. Right, so Apple is nothing. They have no protection for spam calls on their phones. Yeah, it's disappointing given how big a company they are. The fact that they don't have that on there kind of makes you wonder whether they're allowing people to do spam calls on their phones because they get paid for it to not have that feature. Probably true, isn't it, Apple? Yes, indeed. So anyway, my recommendation would be, if you're going to buy a new phone, if you're going to, or get one on a plan, I'd get a Google phone. The other reason for that is that you're not getting a modified version of Android. You're getting pure Android. So you don't get all the other bloatware and guff is the word guff. All the other rubbish that you just basically get on Samsung phones, HTC, Huawei. Don't get Huawei. Chinese government, don't get them. Who else? OnePlus, I guess, but we can't get OnePlus out here. It's Oppo instead, who are basically a partner company owned by HTC, I think it is. So yeah, Google phones are awesome. They're such good phones. The camera system is bonkers good, unbelievably good photos with the Google phone. Even my Pixel 2 XL, which I've still got here, its battery's dead and everything, and it's probably a tiny screen now. It's got a huge chin on it. The photos on that, they were so good, amazing. So why would you have an iPhone if you can get incredible photos from something like that? And if you're going to if you want to buy outright a cheaper phone, then the Samsung A series is absolutely brilliant. The A21, there's so many of them. A21, A25, A30, A32, A40, I guess, A50. There's one for every number you can think of, I think. There's just chill out, Samsung. Just put one at each bracket, yeah? Stop going overboard. It's like, we'll make a phone for every $10. Incremental up to $950,000. Yeah, let's do. It's just ridiculous, these guys. Anyway, yeah, so I definitely still recommend Samsung and Android phones over Apple. I don't understand why people would stick with Apple, or why people would go from Android to Apple. That just seems like insanity to me. I'm just like, why would you do that to yourself? That's just, okay, never mind. All right. Gmail have the best email system on the planet. Microsoft is after that. Apple's, yeah, it's all right. At least it's not Telstra or Optus. Anyone that's still with Optus, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know why you would be with them anymore. It's just after their incompetence with that email hack. They had no security on their server for 20 years, maybe more, and they were intentionally doing that because they're owned by Singtel, who are associated with the Chinese government, if you didn't know that. So they were reading everybody's emails during that time, and I am quite surprised that it took 20 years or more for someone to actually just hack their server. I didn't do it. Put my hands up. I didn't do it, but Optus deserve it. Just going to say. But the Telstra email system is presently moving to Google, but they screwed it up. So it's in half and half at the moment. So you may find your email works or it doesn't. You spend 2.5 hours on the phone with Telstra going, why is my email not working? It's like, well, because they went to Gmail and they didn't tick a box. And that's why it doesn't work. So just get a Gmail address, because if you've got Gmail, then you can just log into that account on your Android phone, on Samsung, HTC, Google, and you'll be laughing. Don't use the Samsung stuff though. That's what I mean about bloatware. Samsung always try and replace everything that is on the Android OS with their own one, including their email client and their internet browser. Don't use them. The Samsung's safe as a company because it's South Korean. However, it just doesn't work quite so well. And obviously they're tracking you, monitoring and just taking all their that information for future updates and stuff like that. You're far better off just using pure Google stuff. So Gmail, don't use Chrome. It's not safe. So use Firefox as your browser, even on an Android phone. Set yourself up a Firefox account and then you can connect it to your computer and stuff like that. Need any help with that, just let me know. That means you can add ad blockers to Firefox even on your Android phone, so you won't get ads coming up from Google, who get paid to put those ads there, which contain malware. So yeah, there's a few dodgy things that you need to sort of be aware of, even if you are using Google for some stuff. Don't use their browser. Get an ad blocker so your search results are safe. It's one of my pet peeves with Google, unfortunately, but I still use their phones because they're brilliant. I think the last thing that I'd probably mention would be prices. If someone's looking at getting a new phone, Android is just so much cheaper, depending on what you get. If you're getting the Samsung Flips or the Google opening, the open phones and stuff like that, then yeah, they're going to be expensive. Of course they are. $2,000 in Australia. It's ridiculous. But why would you buy an iPhone for, was it 1699 for the iPhone Pro or something with 128 gigs of storage? I'm scratching my face, but that doesn't mean I don't know the price. I'm just a bit vague about it. Well, obscene price when you could get something for half the price or even a third of the price that would outperform it. It's just crazy. I don't know why people would buy them. And then they don't put a case on it or a screen protector. You can actually get these really cool screen protectors. So not the tempered glass. They're a rip-off. You can get these. Oh, it's hard to show you on my phone, but it's actually a hydrogel. So if I push the surface, let me try and get the reflection going. You should. Yeah, there you go. You can actually see the depression I create. So instead of being glass, it's hydrogel. So it is supposed to, I've never tested it, but it's supposed to protect your phone a lot better than the tempered glass. I just find with tempered glass, I'll buy two of them. The first one I screw it up in some way or mess it up because there's just a bit of speck of dust or a hair just gets underneath. Just in that moment, it just goes underneath, and then you put it down, you go, are you serious? All right, rip that off, chuck it away. That's $10 down the drain because you can't when you try and take it off, even with a pair of tweezers, usually it leaves a mark underneath, and that's the glue. So once you've peeled the glue up, it's gone. Whereas these hydrogel are awesome. You put it down, and if there are any bubbles underneath, you can usually prick them with a pin. But after about a couple of days, the air bubble actually just rises to the surface and pops out the top. Like, what? It's gone. But a couple of times I've had to do it. But with tempered glass, if you get something underneath and you can't shove it with your hand down the side trying to go, yeah, get it out, get it out, get it out. It ruins the glue. And yeah, as I say, peel it off, chuck it away, get another one. So yeah, very annoying. Cases are like $10 off eBay. Don't pay any more than that. Don't pay more than $5 or $10 at the most for tempered glass if you were going to get one, if they couldn't get hydrogel. That's just a rip-off as well. The price that they charge retail is just disgusting. I can't believe it. It's too expensive through eBay sometimes as well, depending on which one you get, like for tablets and stuff like that, or an iPad case, iPad screen. They're expensive. But you still wouldn't go to JB Hi-Fi and pay $50 or $100 for a Gorilla Glass 5 screen protector, I think I saw. What? That cost them $5. That's a massive markup. Anyway, I'll stop rambling on. Look, if I am still open, contrary to what rumours have been going around, I've never shut. I've never been associated with any other company on the island. I have a home-based business, just like other companies on the islands, but I am still in operation. My company name is Island Computers. Been here. If you need any help with phones, computers, setting new computers up, transferring your photos from one phone to another, I'm your man. If you need antivirus, I get a really good deal on antivirus. $80 for 2 years for Avast Business Pro Plus. Anyway, Ben from Island Computers. I can help with quite a lot of stuff. The only thing I don't do is replace things like screens on phones. I don't replace screens on computers because it's just not worth the hassle. the time involved. But I do replace batteries on computers. So if your laptop has an internal battery and that seems to have died, then I can get a replacement for that. They're generally more expensive. They're about $90 most of the time. Whereas an external one that slots into the back is usually only about $30. Power chargers, depending on which one you're after, a standard one for your laptop is usually around $30 as well. If you need a USB Type-C, you're actually better off getting one from Kogan, which costs, I think they're $50 for the 68 watt one, and it has two connectors in it, so a USB-C and a USB Type-3. But you can get bigger ones. You just got to be careful with which ones you buy. I've bought a few duds before off eBay, and yeah, they were pretty bad. So I just chucked them out. They just weren't safe to use. But Kogan do some amazing chargers for phones and for tablets and stuff like that. Really worth getting them from there. This is Ben from Island Computers. Feel free to give me a call. Cheers.